Good day to you all, and welcome to the Gaze Insights platform, where we look at all things inheritance, have conversations about the conflict that arises when we lose our people, our family, and we find family getting into a drama-filled movie where the disagreements take over and the fight for assets begins. My name is Angela, I'm your host. Today we're going to look at how being a widow doesn't mean that you're powerless. Grief should not cost us our future. And we see that it does so in so many families, especially when a husband dies. When this happens, a widow is often surrounded by grief. You have condolences, you have visitors, there are prayers, you have so many decisions being made at this particular point in time. But behind the sympathy, something else quietly begins to happen. You start asking yourself questions. As a widow, you're looking at who controls the property. Where are the bank accounts? What are the banks? Who is in charge of these bank accounts? Who decides what happens to my family's estate, the assets, and so on? And if you've not been having these discussions with your partner before they pass, these questions can put you in a whirlpool of chaos. In many cultures, widows are treated as if they've suddenly become weak, as though they are dependent and incapable of making decisions. And you find that people are bombarding you with questions left, right, and center. You are surrounded by everyone who seems to think they know better than you do. But grief does not erase intelligence. Losing a spouse does not mean you're losing your voice. And when we find everybody is talking above us and making suggestions and insisting, give me the ATM cards, give me the Visa cards, give me the passwords, sometimes you may make mistakes, but it doesn't mean you're powerless. Grief is real, but so is responsibility. Loss should not cost you your future. And while it's real, it's also understanding that responsibility is ours at that point as the widows. Loss does not pause life's practical realities. The first weeks after your spouse passes can feel very overwhelming. You have emotional shock, you have funeral arrangements, and then you have that painful adjustment to a whole new reality. Alongside this grief, there are other important responsibilities that you must address. You need to understand your family's financial situation. Are you able to conduct the funeral? Do you have enough finances in place? Do you have burial grounds, or do you have to pay for a slot? You have to choose the casket. You have to make arrangements for children if they've not been around so that they can come in and attend the funeral. You have visitors coming in who need to be attended to. You're grieving, so you're not even in a state of mind to host at this particular point in time. The decisions are so many, they are overwhelming. And you are also responsible to know where key documents are so that you don't have them snatched, they don't get lost within that mayhem. You're trying to secure the property and assets, but people are looking for the titles as well. You're looking at your children and wondering, how do I protect their future? That's a thought that passes through your mind. So these responsibilities may feel very heavy, but they're also a moment of transition. As a widow, you're not just someone who has lost your partner, you've also lost a connection to everything they did on behalf of the family. Now, knowledge is power. And you start understanding during this time that you were probably never fully informed. In many marriages, financial and legal matters were handled primarily by one partner. Sometimes the husband manages your bank accounts, he has the titles, knows the business decisions, understands the investments. Now they've passed. And suddenly you feel so locked out of information. You don't know where the documents are kept. Is there a safe? Are they in a bank? Are they in a safe deposit box within the bank? You don't know how many businesses your husband had. Was he operating in this industry, the other? You know the core probably, but you may not know all his investments. Who are the trusted advisors he had? Who was his legal person? Who was his doctor? Who were the critical people that your spouse or partner dealt with? And you're going to see an influx of debtors, people coming, and creditors, people coming to demand, he owed me money, he hadn't paid for this. And you're wondering, is it true? How do I verify this? Because you, at that point in time, all these things are pouring on you in an instant. Now, this lack of information can make you actually feel powerless. But power often begins with something very, very simple. Ask questions. Seek clarity. Do not respond to everyone by giving them what they want. If you do so, it will make you vulnerable, and vulnerability attracts opportunists. Not everyone who appears supportive has good intentions. Sadly, some widows will face pressure during this vulnerable time, and you'll end up giving in. Relatives or acquaintances will suddenly appear with so much advice. We want to manage your property for you. Can we transfer the land to the children now? You have baby mamas demanding the stake for their children. You have children who actually may not even have any link to your partner being brought to the fore. You have aunties and uncles who all want to feel for what was left. They want to partake. In some cultures, you have in-laws and siblings of your partner who come and take the furniture, take the assets that you have, heirlooms within the home. Some may even force you out of your family home. Others are going to ask you to sign documents. Please don't sign any document. In these cases, you don't know what is right and what is wrong. And at that point in time, you are overwhelmed. So take a pause before you make drastic decisions. In some cases, the suggestions may be genuine, but in other cases, they can lead to loss of control over all assets, over the decisions that you're making. And this is what will make you powerless. As a widow, remember, grief should never be rushed into legal decisions. Major decisions require time, understanding, and trusted professional advice for you to manage the inheritance process. The law, of course, will protect you as a widow more than you realize. Legal systems will frequently provide these rights that you're unaware of. And this could include inheritance rights, your rights to marital property, guardianship responsibilities for your children. They could also provide you protection from unlawful eviction from your family home. However, these protections only work if you, as the widow, understands them and asserts them. But if you keep quiet, silence or uncertainty can sometimes allow others to take control. And they will take control of your decisions and take things that rightly belong to you and your children. So, knowledge of your rights is not confrontation, it's actually self protection. And you need to be strong at this particular time so that you can grow from the loss. Many widows discover strength they never knew they had, and you have it in you. Some widows eventually find themselves doing things they've never expected. You are immediately going to run the family business. You will have to make decisions on investments, manage existing investments as well. You now have to make financial decisions, major ones. You have to guide your children through the emotional uncertainty and to calm them down that life is going to go on. And this journey is not easy. But as a widow, discover that within yourself lies surprising resilience. You can learn to stand up for yourself, you can protect your family, your children, and you can also honor the legacy of your partner, not by remaining silent, but by stepping forward with courage. Losing a partner does not erase your intelligence as a woman. It does not erase your strength. It does not erase your authority. But widowhood alone requires you to actually stand in your power. A widow is not simply someone who has lost a spouse or a partner. You're a person who's now being entrusted with protecting the legacy that remains. And when you understand your rights, you understand those responsibilities and your voice, and you know how strong your voice can be during this time, then you're far from powerless. You become the guardian of your family's future. So try not to panic. And I know it's hard to say when you're in that moment. Get a hold of all those areas and be very worried about whom you trust. Get somebody who you really trust to be able to walk this journey with you during those weeks and months after you have lost a partner. I'll end it here and thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. If there are any topics you'd like us to talk about, put them in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you once again as we delve further into inheritance and how it has become such a panacea in our society. Thank you for listening and